Hey guys, my name is Riven Phoenix, and this is drawing the human figure from your mind. So before we get started on this lesson, I just want to take a minute and thank everyone who has been very appreciative of the work that we're doing here, and we can't thank you enough for all your support. And we hope that these videos can somehow help in a small way to whatever dreams you have set out for yourself. So we'll keep working hard getting these videos finished, and hopefully provide the answers that are needed for artists in understanding the figure. Thank you. So in this lesson, what I wanted to do is show you how to now start to develop the understanding of your invention in 3D space. And we're going to get into this because we need to look at it from a 3/4 angle. So what we have been doing, so let's say we have the circle and I divide it in 4 parts. When we look at the figure from the front view, we've been looking at it from this angle. And when we did the side view, we've always been drawing the side angle from the left side. And this is the back view. So for the 3/4 view in this lesson, we're going to draw the figure from the right, giving us a 3/4 view, which would be the left of the figure. So the figure would be standing in this direction and he would be looking this way, and we'll then draw him from this from the left 3/4 view, and then from the back 3/4 view. So basically this is now going to begin to imprint into our brain the understanding that we need for invention in a much more three-dimensional form, giving us the core structure for the idea of the invention that we have in our head as in a very simple form. So let's go ahead and do this. So for this, we're going to do the same thing. Start out by putting down the 2 dots for the height of the figure and divide it in half, and always measure, make sure that we have it in center for now. Later on this will become second-hand knowledge to you. You wouldn't be even marking the center, you'll just be drawing lines and drawing the figure freehand. But right now we need to make this a habit. But you'll notice that one thing that we have stopped doing is actually drawing the horizontal line. And the reason for this is we are letting that part of the construction of the figure go, is because it's just second-hand knowledge, and we're giving our mind the confidence slowly in leaving out these extra anomalies that we have been putting in trying to create our invention. And slowly we'll start to do this where we'll only draw the certain points on the figure that we need to figure this out. We don't have to divide it in 8 parts every time. But when we get to that step, you'll see what a difference it will make for you in drawing much more confidently. So for the side pose, in order for us to make this successful, from a 3/4 view angle. So again, we're looking at it from this direction. You can very lightly make horizontal lines as guides, and really the reason for this is because this is helping us right now solve a problem in drawing. Right now we're not interested in a very foreshortened or 3D view of the figure that our brain is going to want to develop out of symbolism, because it's so used to the 3D world. And if we don't do these beginning techniques in drawing, we'll hit a frustration level where we won't understand that when we were trying to do the 3/4 view, how come the figure ended up being looked at from the top down or the under. And these are just some anomalies that will happen when you're drawing, and to solve these is really the art of artistic thinking and understanding as to what tools your brain needs for it to begin to just comprehend what it is that we're trying to do here. So by drawing these lines, it's just giving us guides to not go overboard in our perspective. Okay, so for the 3/4 view, we'll just make a line here because it's going to involve the front and the side pose. And we had stated that if I'll draw an X very lightly here. We had stated that if the width of the head is going to be, let's say, here, right, and we had the dot. So for the side view, when I had drawn it, you had seen me go in the center and draw a line, draw the face like this, and draw the X shape. So this has to be translated here, where this dot that I'm drawing is actually right here on the ear. So here, when I draw the chin, I can come down this way and help make the construction of this invention in 3D space. Okay, so right now we're just interested in simple forms right now, simple 3D forms, and thinking in forms. That's what we're trying to do right now. So if you want, you can just draw the line here for the face if that makes you feel better. And you can go ahead and shade this if you want to make it look more 3D. Okay, so we have the head down for this invention. So the next item up was when we had stated that after we draw the spine, we could assume that 3/4 down would be where the collarbones were, and we would come in this angle, right? And then down here, what this was, we would get the angle for the chest, where we could specify the nipples. Then we would have the sternum, and it would go up at an angle not touching the bottom of the third head, and begin to go up, giving us that side pose. So for this, we're going to do the same thing here, and imagine the spine going in the back in this direction. And here we can, not going into perspective, just keeping it simple, just make a circle in this way and put a V here, and you can make at an angle the placement for the nipples, and then start to draw away the construction for the chest in 3D space, kind of like, almost like this. Okay, so it doesn't matter that we are making this line here, because if you remember, when we were drawing from the front view, when we had created the head in this simple form, right, and then we had gone down, made the V, and specified the nipples, and then when we went here, we just made an X shape. We actually didn't say that we were going to draw a line here. and make it a 3D form for the chest. We actually just made a simple X shape. So in this, we're making that X shape, but if you want to make that line, you can. It's no big deal. As long as you begin to understand your invention in 3D space is what's important here. It doesn't matter to us as to approaching that elite thinking that we're trying to get to, which is just knowing at every angle and the design of the chest. Right now it's just understanding the invention in 3D space, turning it around in a circle without thinking too much about it. And to do that, what we're doing here is actually doing a little bit of research, investigation, scientific research. So here, where the navel was, we had stated that we would go 3/4 down and we would get the angle for the hip and where the crotch was. So for this, we can also state that in 3D space, 3/4 down, we can just put like a circle here for now, right? Two circles going at an angle, just like two plates. Right, so here let me point this out to you. So when you are beginning to draw, right, and if you remember when we had drawn the chest cavity in this way, we had said that from the navel 3/4 down we would do the love handles, and then we did this for the hips. Then we started drawing the joints for the legs. But this shape here does not have to exist like this in 3D space, because this is only in 2D. But so here we've made these plates. So if I shade this in a little bit so you can see what I'm doing here, we're making this hip look like this. Okay, it's like this plate existing in 3D form. So it doesn't mean that you have to now actually create these lines here to somehow figure out where the love handle is. That's not what we're interested in. We're just interested in the idea now. So we're beginning our journey into understanding the design in 3D. So this will be corrected later. So when we come back, when we draw the figure in front, we would say that, oh yeah, after the love handles, I remembered that I had made an improvement in my invention, and I had made it into these plates, right? So your invention is going to start improving, because right now we couldn't figure out what it looks like in 3D just by the front, back, and the side view. But now we're beginning to make those distinctions and in inventing. So here I'll put the hip, the other hip. I'll just draw these circles, and here is where the upper leg, this guy needs to go. Right, and then we'll just draw these lines here, and we're just really interested in sketching this out. We're not crazy about making it so clean like we did over here. It's just an investigation process. So here I'm demonstrating to you the different techniques that you can use in understanding your invention in 3D space, right? So here you can use a technique which is just scribbling. I mean, it's okay, just scribble away. As long as you get in, you're developing these forms in 3D now, and you're just beginning that journey, and it's okay to scribble away. It doesn't matter. So now from the navel, we would draw that line and say that, yeah, this is where the shoulder would sit. Here's the collarbone, and here's where the other shoulder would have sat. And here would be the collarbone in 3D space, because we had understood from this navel, if we had drawn and measured a new line, it would sit in the center. If sit in the center like this, you can put two joints here and begin to now look at this in a balancing act in 3D space. So one thing that I want you to take away from this video is really when you start to now draw this invention. So right now we're investigating this invention. We don't care too much about what's big and what's not big. It's just understanding it. So to create the invention in 3D space, we have to make sure that we think of the invention in 3D and try to stay away from symbolism. So now we can look at this and say that if we had to draw this here to investigate, right? This is where we're beginning our investigation phase of the 3D form. So this is where we had specified the collarbone was, and this is where we had stated that the nipples would be, or the chest, right? In this area, we can now begin to look at this from, let's say, a top-down perspective, if we wanted to, and just begin to understand, okay, I understand, so what I've been trying to do is make a shape in 3D. And to do this, we're going to sketch out these lines and anomalies and just get an idea for what is it that we're trying to create here, right? And then when we use this knowledge in our understanding of all the landmarks to where exactly they're supposed to be, all of this is going to make sense. It's going to fit. So here is the collar. We can draw a line here, state that this is where the bone would be, the joint for the shoulder would be sitting. And the shoulder can go down in perspective here now, if we wanted to, right? So here in the next lesson, we're going to now do these kinds of drawings to get into our head the understanding of the hip and the chest and the head in its 3D form. Not in the form as how you know anatomy to be, but in our invention as to what are the areas that we need to specify scientifically, what angles we need to understand of our invention to understand in 3D. And this is where we can then lay out all these side views in one shot, from front, back, side, 3/4 view, and the back 3/4 view. So hope you join me for that lesson. I look forward to it. Thank you.